Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, Captain Gilmore, from the Soldiers of the Wasteland. But it's I, your travel god and your Captain, Peter Joseph here, for a Thursday night video right here on the Peter Joseph YouTube wrestling channel, youtube.com/Peter Joseph. Make sure you like the video, hit that subscribe button down in my pants, otherwise known as the description box below. And share the video all over the internet. Leave a comment on this video or any one of my videos on my respective channels from the past, the present, and in the future, Conan. But don't leave stupid comments. You'll get sent to the Shadow Realm. Satan and Ozzy will beat you severely, then eat your soul. So don't do it. You want to do it, go do it on your boring channel that nobody cares about. Because you ain't going to do it on mine. You don't like it? Tough shit. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to tap and slap that bell. Turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one, because if you miss the next one, well, you're pretty much out of luck, and you know what that means. I don't think I need to tell you. But you missed it, you missed it. That's that. And for our newbies out there, if you're floating around YouTube at this time of night, and or any time you see my gorgeous sexy face, and you want to subscribe or just want to get in the loop of what's going on my channel, then please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. And when you do subscribe, as we say in the business, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, you relax, grab your nice tasty glass of Coke, or Pepsi in this case. As always, we drink Pepsi here. We don't drink anything else. Well, we do, but, you know. But sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice tasty cold one. Put your feet up and enjoy the show. You like it? Great. You know, go somewhere else. Go to your boring channel. Go to somebody else's channel. Go watch something else. And if you can't do that, you got problems. And that's that. And it's called obsession. It's not just a song. But it is what it is. It's a disease. But it is what it is. And the prophecy helps to give you a disease, good. And that's all I gotta say about that. So sit back, relax, put your feet up and enjoy the show. If you like it, great. You know, too bad. And that's all you gotta do. So once again, like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment, and all that other good shit. And we move on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, on this cold Thursday night, January the 29th, 2026, 2 days away from the end of the first month of the new year, and on Sunday, we'll begin the short month of February. We got the the hedgehog coming in a couple of days. Hopefully, he gives us an early spring, but I doubt it. But we got that. We got a bomb cyclone coming this weekend here in the Northeast, but hopefully it's going to be a glancing blow, and we only get a dusting to maybe 3 inches of snow, which ain't shit here in New York City, but, you know, on top of the snow that's slowly melting here over the last 4 days, we don't really need it. And then next weekend we might get another one, which may or may not be big, who knows at this point. But, you know, and then January and February have, you know, historically been really bad winters here in my neck of the woods, and wherever you may be too, except for the South, you know, Florida and the West Coast, certain parts, but, you know, but in the Northeast and the Midwest and even in Minnesota, North Dakota, places like that, winters are not so good, Al. And, that's that. By the way, if you don't know what that means, not so good, Al, you haven't watched Happy Days lately. That's a religious show for me. I watched that since it was a little bitty hoax, dude. And every time it went off, I start crying like a little bitch. But that was when I was a little bitty hoaxer dude. You know, I get to watch reruns. I don't get that anymore. But I mean, I don't cry anymore. I just watch it and like, oh, it's over. That's over. I go watch another one. You know, whatever. That's pretty much it. But be safe and be well this weekend if you're going out. And that's pretty much it. No football this weekend because, well, we got nothing to talk about for football. The Pro Bowl's on Tuesday that nobody's going to watch. And then the Super Bowl next Sunday, which should be a pretty interesting game. Patriots and the Seahawks in Santa Clara with Niners play. Sad the Niners are not there. But hopefully the Patriots win, so you don't want the Seahawks celebrating on our field. But, so rematch from a Super Bowl, I forgot what number. But, we'll see what happens with that. And we move on with that. Don't forget Bad Bunny, the halftime show, which is pretty much the Super Bowl right there. But it should be a good game, too. But we'll see what happens with that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, on your Thursday night, we got TNA Impact Wrestling on AMC Episode 3 in a Tree. That rhymed entirely. So, TNA coming up in about an hour, a little over an hour from now, on the great station of AMC. And it's taped, as we all saw the spoiler for that, for the episode, with the Feast of Fired briefcases being revealed. We know Eddie Edwards, spoiler alert, got the world title shot, so he's gonna get fired between Trey Miguel, Grandpa Eric Young, and Steve Macklin, who gets those title shots and who get fired. And we got that. We also got a no-holds-barred street fight between Flop Dollar, AJ Francis, and the man that goes, all night long, all night. You know, that guy, Rich Swann. Should be a good time on your 2-hour cure for insomnia, and that's TNA Impact Wrestling. Yep. From, I think, I don't even know what it is. I think it's Albuquerque, New Mexico. Should have took a left, but we're stuck there. We'll move on. So, good stuff coming your way later on. That's that. But right now, everything I'm saying right now is going to happen right now. But what happened then? You, sir, you missed it. So, you suck. That's that. But right now, it is time, as the title below says, it is time for your late and out-of-date NXT review for this past Tuesday night, January the 27th, 2026, and your food is ready. That's that. And we are emanating from the Capitol Wrestling Center in the parking lot at Nickelodeon Studios in Orlando, Florida. Alright, as always, our commentary team, the man with lots of candy, because he loves those kids, Vic Joseph, and the two-time Hall of Famer, the simp himself, Black Snow. Oh yeah, man. Booker T, sucker! Oh, we got that. Alright, so we are at the Go Home show before next Tuesday's, February the 3rd's, Epic Extravaganza with the 6-way ladder match for the vacant NXT World title. So, we got a couple of more qualifiers to go, and then we'll round out our field. Now it's 7-man, not 6-man, now it's 7. Go figure that one out. But we move on with that. And that's it. So, we'll see what happens on NXT. Alright, so we get right to the action, because as always, as my ex-girlfriend used to say, little less talk and a lot more action right here on my show. And that's copyrighted, by the way. Anyway, so we got that. So we're supposed to get a qualifying match between the Evolve Men's Champion, Jackson Drake, along with the Vanity Project, or the rest of the Vanity Project, Swipe Right, at his side. He was supposed to take on that guy that, you know, we say his name and he appears, I believe, in below average Joe Hendry. But that match never got started because we go to the back, we see Joe Hendry got attacked, presumably by Swipe Right. So he was like, oh, you know, was one of the members had a chair with him. And then he was like, well, you know, what do we do now? He says, I can't deal with this now. And then, you know, she gets on the headset and says some stuff, you know, like she did about a week or two ago. Says, get him ready, get it going on next. And then, she goes and has to deal with, my cousin Tony D'Angelo, who gets me, not you, but me, a nice plate of pasta for $2. You Sadly, you get it for $10.50 at your local store. Fucker. It's my cousin, not yours. Because all Italians are cousins, by the way. It's not my legit cousin. I wish he was, but all Italians are cousins. I'm just saying. Even the female ones. But I digress. But us Italians, we kick ass. But yeah. So, alright. So my cousin Tony D'Angelo is in the building. Supposedly. You know. Somehow, somebody bailed him out. Don't know who. We'll find out later. So they had to shuffle the schedule. They had to rebook everything. So we started off wild and crazy on NXT. Alright, so I didn't rate that first part. Alright, now we get to action with our first official match of the night. For the NXT Tag Team titles, we have those idiots in Dark State, or as I call them, Deuces and Jokers. Was there a fake wannabe Aces and Eights ripoff? Anyway, they take on the Boricua Gangsters, Bronco Nima and Lucius Price, OTM. Pretty decent match. It's also with Saquon Sugars and Osiris Griffin defending the titles, because they have the, Freebird-ish rule. Or the Ace and Ace rule, I call it, but whatever. Anyway. So, we had Saquon Sugars trying to get his gear on. Dude, you gotta be ready when you're called. Stop fucking around, Stop trying to bang, whoever in the back. Oh, I gotta get my gear on. Shit! I'm fucking somebody. Leave me alone. I'm coming, If you watch The Dirt, you know what I'm talking about. But, I guess some of you don't, but, because you're too lazy to watch it. But I digress. Anyway, Lucius Price and Osiris Griffin have a big old stare down. Big beefy man slapping meat in that ring. Bronco Nima comes in for some double slams to clear the ring. Back in. Lucius Price sends Saquon Sugars into the corner. Goes to the Eddie Guerrero, Three Amigos. That ain't gonna work. Your name is not Eddie Guerrero. Okay, stop. So, Lucius Price, you might be Boricua, but you are not Eddie Guerrero. And you tried to emulate him, and you failed. Right, Eddie? I need eat tonight! I gave him that! Okay. At least you're honest. When am I not honest? Well, when you lie, cheat, and steal. Ah, you got me there. Fuck. It's true. Anyway, never, Eddie doesn't really, he doesn't play fair sometimes. But he has a great-looking son named Dominic Guerrero. That's my son! The fruit of my loins, they say! Yeah, I hope he comes back at the Rumble. Your good buddy Ray's may not be in the Rumble because of his shoulder scare. I wish it was permanent! Oh, stop, Eddie, will you? Will you stop? I'm sorry. Or am I? Anyway, we move on. So he tries to do the Three Amigos. It gets broken up. OTM clear the ring again. We're going to break. We come right back. This time the faces are still in control. Bronco Nima, actually the heels come back. Sorry. Bronco Nima is in trouble. Saquon Sugars grabs a spinning toe hold. Circa Terry Funk. You like that one, Terry? That wasn't nice! Do you like anything these days? No! Okay. But I was a hardcore legend in Japan! I know. Japan! #1! Forever! Thank you, Terry. Not ever! Are you done? Not ever! Okay, that's enough. I'm sorry. Anyway, so he hits the spinning toe hold. Osiris Griffin and Bronco Nima then hit stereo cross bodies. Ouch. Then Lucius Price comes back in with a rock bottom, by God almighty, a rock bottom on a Saturday night, Tony Schiavone. To Saquon Sugars, onto Osiris Griffin for a near fall. Then, the Vanity Project all come out for the distraction, which leads to Lucius Price getting fruit rolled up. Well, he got rolled up, I think, with a handful of underwear. 1, 2, 3, Dark State retains the NXT Tag Team titles. Fuck! The That too. In 11 minutes. Excuse me. So, Deuces and Jokers get the win. And that's that. Then after the match, a humongous brawl breaks out with members of Chase U, Kale Dixon, and the other guy, Uriah Connors, and the Cuckling. Well, other tag teams like Hank and Spank, or Wank and Tank, or whatever you want to call them. They get into a big brawl in the aisleway. And then, while Darcy's like, oh, look at this, Sean Spears and Nico of the Cuckling come in and lay him out. So, more craziness in the tag team division like there wasn't any before. It's just a different year now. So, we'll see what happens with that. And we move on with that. Alright, after that, we go to the back we go to the women's locker room with a lovely bunch of ladies. We have Karen Petrovich sighting. She's been on Evolve lately. But we have another member of Evolve, Tequila Leon's, all those stars. Love you. Do. She agrees to face Jada Parker, Ms. Parker. So Blake Monroe doesn't have to. And then she starts singing and dancey, love you. And then she, pretty much, that's, pretty much it. And we move on. Alright, so I gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars. Then we get to the match, which lasted basically under 5 minutes. Jada Parker taking on Nikita Lyons. Starts off with, Jada working on the arm. Grabs a basic headlock. Fans are approving. Miss Parker! Miss Parker! Nikita Lyons is back up with a spin kick to face. And then does some dancey, more dancey. Then a face plant. Sets up a neck crank circa 1904. But Jada is right back with some clotheslines. Hits the teardrop in the corner. Then the Hypnotique sets up some type of abdominal stretch slam. Way better than that finisher. Than the Hypnotique, I think. And Jada got the win. Never saw that. An abdominal stretch slam. Interesting. Alright. Or impressive. Most impressive, Skywalker. Most impressive. We got that. Alright, so Jada gets the win in under 5 minutes. Match I gave 2.25 out of 5 stars. And, after that, Blake Monroe, gets on the Tron. She's in, I guess, her house. She's in a black robe. I wonder what is underneath that. I love to know. Hoo-hoo. And, basically talks her shit. And that's pretty much it. And then Jay's like, starts yelling at the camera, at Blake. He said, "You're on my time!" Or something like that. So, yeah. We move on with that. Alright. That's my, notes reload. Told you my computer's ancient and pretty much conked out last night. Now I'm running on Windows 8 now. It sucks. So, alright, let me just reload, if I can, reload my, my save file. So that's what happens. But, here's to you motherfuckers. Good old Pepsi. You gotta love it. And, we got that. Alright, let me get back my notes. Hopefully. There we go. Okay, it went way past my notes. They loaded way past. Alright. Alright, like I said, after the match, Blake Monroe in a different outfit. I think this was taped on Tuesday. I'm not sure, but basically she says, Jada, I'll see you soon. When will it be now? Soon. That's when it will be now. Not now, but soon. Spaceballs is just an epic movie. And if you don't like it, fuck you. That's that. Alright, after that, we go to the back. Tavion Heights gives Eli Knight, that's not LA Knight, that's LA Knight's homeboy, and the Mexican luchador Idiot de Fleur, Pepe Le Pew, a pep talk, and then Audio Grace, and her husband Stax Mahomes, the TNA Intercontinental Champion, and the King himself, Lexus King. They come out and interrupt. They don't think much of Tavion, and we get another match between Tavion Heights and Lexus King. Boring! So I give this 2 out of 5 stars. And that's that. By the way, how you doing here, say, muchachos, senoritas, and senors? Ay, 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 ay! It is I, Angelito! Ay, 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 ay! Hey, do you like that new Mexican luchador, Idiot de Fleur? He's not Mexican like me, and he stinks too. He looks like Matt Riddle. I know, he does look like Matt Riddle, but this is way better than, that guy that you fear, Osito. Well, who's better than Osito? Me! I gotta go. Bye! Okay. What's that? Peter's playing with his dolls again! Knock next time! Knock! Did you see anything? No, sir. I didn't see you play with your dolls again. Good! She gives great helmets. Anyway, I can watch Spaceballs all day. Moving on. Alright, so I gave that segment 2 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we go to a promo from the Elegance brand. We have M and Heather, the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, along with George the Iceman, the personal concierge, Mr. Elegance, and Ash by Elegance, who resigned to TNA. So that whole thing was a ruse that she retired my ass. And she got death threats for that, I heard. I think that's going a little bit too far, you stupid fucking marks, but Ash, maybe it was real, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a ruse, I don't know. It kind of was weird if it was a work. Why would you give up the title if it was just a work? Or shwork, I don't know. It was kind of weird. She just says, I can't defend the title no more, so I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna retire. And then like a month or two, and a couple months later, you're back. You got some explaining to do. So yeah, Dana Brooke re-signed with TNA. Big freaking whoop. So anyway, they're ready for Del Ruka. So Ruka, the wrestling Surfer Girl, and Delta. Oh, whenever that match happens. Maybe at No Surrender. I don't know when that match is going to be, but we'll see what happens with that. Alright, I gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars. Speaking of Delta, she's in the locker room, trying to get a hold of her partner, Ruka, who's, I don't know where she is. Saudi Arabia, that's where she is, because I think she's going to be in the Royal Rumble match for the women. Not going to win it, but I think she'll have a great performance. Oh, she's going to sack some souls in that match. So Delta's not happy with her not arriving to the building. Like, I can't find you. And then the crazy girl, Thea Hale, comes in, and they start arguing about being handed title shots. Uh-oh. And then, like, oh, I'm gonna kick your ass, and then a match gets made. Oh, boy, boring. Anyway, so 2.25 out of 5 stars for that little segment. And then after that, more talking. We have All Ego Ethan Page, the Canadian National Champion. Alright, he walks up to Miles, they'll call him Ozzy Osbourne, and he tells tells him, you need to be ruthless instead of righteous within your match against Dion Lennox coming up for a qualifying spot. Miles says, mind your own business, lady. Ethan. And then absolute Ricky Starks, who was on commentary, then he went to the back for a little bit. He said, and then Miles like, you can shut the fuck up too. Damn, Miles. Tell us how you really feel. Sure. Alright, so I gave that 2.5 out of 5 stars. And it looks like we're going to get Miles and Ethan for the Canadian National Championship. I think that's where we're heading with those two guys. No, those two guys. This next match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, this guy. And his opponent, that guy. From parts unknown, the skeleton. No. Anyway, moving on. Alright, so 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, then we're outside the medical office where we see Joe Hendry getting attended to. Ava Raine comes up to the Vanity Project. Actually, they come up to see Ava and says, you can't prove that we attacked Joe. And Ava's like, yeah, you're right. But there is a spot in the ladder match, so Jackson Drake, who was supposed to face Joe Hendry, gets a bye. Lucky fucking bitch. And, Ricky Starks got a bye just because he's Ricky Starks. So Jackson Drake is in, along with Ricky, and I forget who else is in that match. And Shiloh Hill, my boy, Shiloh Hill. So Drake gets in, and he says, and then Ava's like, if Joe Hendry gets cleared, he's in too. Via a bye. Earn your shot. That's ridiculous. You get in by a bye. Not Ricky Starks, but I'm talking about Jackson Drake and Joe Hendry are getting in via a bye? What? What's the point of these fucking qualifying matches? If you're gonna have a mini tournament, at least, it's one thing to get somebody gets injured, then you get in by a bye, or by forfeit because you can't wrestle. But then then there's another thing, you get in via a bye? Huh? Just because the general manager or whoever says, okay, you guys are in. You didn't earn it. WWE booking is fantastic. Moving on. Alright, so I gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars, and that's it. Alright, then we get to our next qualifying match. We have Dion Lennox from Dark State taking on Miles, we'll call him Ozzy Osbourne. And it was an okay match. It's also with Miles grabbing a basic headlock to start. They go to the mat, some mat wrestling. Dion gets caught in a head scissors. Gets up with some, and he gets right back up. We get some fruit roll-ups for near falls, I should say. Miles is back with some running elbows in the corner, and a running clothesline by Dion puts Miles on the floor, where he fights back with a whip into the ring steps. Ow! And then Ego Ethan Page comes out to watch. As we go to break, we come back. Miles fights back until Dion grabs a fruit roll-up. Though the referee caught him cheating, he's like, no, like Fala Bah would say. Then Ethan throws Miles a, I think the belt, or the tag team belts, one of the tag team belts, I think, but the referee took it away, even though, Miles wasn't gonna use it anyway, which allowed Dion to hit a Michinoku driver. Okay, you're not Taka Michinoku, okay, stop. 1, 2, 3, so Dion Lennox qualifies for the soon-to-be 7-way ladder match. That's going to be a wild, crazy match. So Dion gets the win. Match, 2.5 out of 5 stars. And that's it. But like I said, looks like we're going to get Ethan Page and Miles, we'll call him Ozzy Osbourne, for the Canadian National title. We get that. Alright, after the match, Ethan tells Miles that he has to listen. You need to listen! And he gets dropped for that. Miles ain't gonna hear that shit. You cost him a chance to go for the world title. So you deserve to get beat down. That's that. Alright, after that, my cousin Tony D'Angelo goes into Ava's office, with the security guards. Why is Chris Island still a security guard? He went from LFG to being a random security guard for the last few weeks. Boy, that LFG, thing really fucked up his fucking career. He had some decent matches. I think he still needs some more seasoning. But we're just seeing him as a random, boring security guard. I feel bad for the guy. He didn't find himself until season 2, near the end. Though it was a little bit too little, too late for him. Where he came out like this, like he's like a karate guy or some shit. Yeah, and then he had some decent matches near the end of LFG season 2. But obviously, Booker T, Michelle McCool, Bubba Ray Dudley, and The Undertaker's like, no, you need more seasoning. And that's why they picked Shiloh and Danny Sikelski, who we haven't seen that much. Well, now it's her new name. But I still call her Danny Sikelski. Whatever. We get that. Anyway, so we get that. So Tony comes in. Ricky Starks was warning Ava about Kiana Carver. Oh, Obo Femi 2.0. So he goes to leave. He's like, oh. So Tony's like, why'd you bail me out? So Ava's like, well, apparently NXT needs you. I want to know if you're in or you're out. So Tony D's like, well, I'll make my intentions clear next week. But I'm not the same Tony D'Angelo like before. I'm not, the mafioso guy. I'm, hey! He's meaner, he's different, he's tougher. You know what they say about mean, tough Italians. You think the mafia is gonna fuck you up? Mm-hmm. Tony D's on a manhunt right now for that world title. That's what I think his intentions are, so anyway, he goes to leave, and then Ava warns him not to interfere in the ladder match next week. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, when somebody tells you not to do something, you obviously do it. Oh, absolutely. Simple facts. Ray, when somebody tells you if you're a god, you say yes! I couldn't help it. Fuck you, Ray. Don't be a Ray, okay? Don't be don't be Ray from Ghostbusters. An idiot. But it is what it is. God is good. And if you don't believe in God, you got problems. What do you mean I don't believe in God? I talk to him every day. That's right, Dave. Hello, me. Meet the real me. And my misfit's way of life. I'm gonna keep talking to myself, okay? Get out of here, Dave. Dave Mustaine. Anyway, so we got that. Alright, so 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Then, Mr. Chase of Chase U isn't really happy with Kale Dixon and Araya Connors getting involved in the fight earlier in the tag team title match. But now he has to get ready for his death sentence against Kiana Carver. And then Lexis King comes in once again, asks if Araya Connors' father is proud of him. Oh, he went there. And then he goes to leave on his throne into the arena where he's about to face Tavion Heights for, I think, the second time. Yeah, the second time. So I gave that segment 2.25 out of 5 stars. So we get to the match, and Tavion tries to do what he did last week and win in like 10 seconds. That didn't work. Because, Lexis is too smart for that now. So he stays on the ribs. Lexis manages to send him outside for a ram into the barricade. Ow. And then we see Stax Mahomes and his hot wife, Ariana Grace, come out to watch. Tavion gets in another suplex back inside the ring, only to miss a clothesline. Fall back out to the floor. Comes up favoring his arm. and misses a slingshot shoulder block back inside the ring. And then Lexus grabs the coronation, 1, 2, 3, to get his win back from last week in under 4 minutes. Match-wise, 2.25 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, Lexus poses with Stacks Mahomes and Ariana Grace, saying that was just the beginning. You know, the promo was kind of cut off. I don't know, that's bad production there. So, we'll see what happens with that. As, you know, Lexus King and High Rise and a couple other people, and, you know, Charlie Dempsey and a couple other people still doing that whole, NXT TNA invasion shit. We'll move on with that. Alright, then we get a special feature called NXT Origins. I like this segment. This featured a look at Finn Balor's time in NXT. I actually liked it. You know, people hated it. I'm like, why? So, we saw Finn Balor, you know, his early days at NXT before he became the NXT World Champion against Kevin Steen. The Demon comes out, you know, like Jack the Ripper, and he came out as Carnage Demon Finn Balor. That was some good shit back in the day. Wonder who else we're gonna get next. Maybe Seth Rollins, probably Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, of course, maybe Roman. When he was leaky, even though that wasn't great for Roman. His early, you know, NXT days were meh. You know, if you've seen NXT from like before it became NXT, when it was FCW, Roman wasn't, you know, good on the mic like he is now, but I still think Roman will never live down that suffering succotash crap. Ugh. Suffering succotash, son! But it is what it is. As always, we acknowledge Roman here. And if you don't acknowledge Roman, fuck you. Get that. Alright, so I didn't rate that NXT Origin segment. Alright, then we get to Delta and Crazy Girl Thea Hale, one-on-one with the NXT Women's North American Champion, Izzy Dame Bookie Hogan, 2.0 on commentary. Pretty decent match for a little over 9 minutes. Thea's headlock doesn't last that long. Delta powers her into a fireman's carry that gets broken up. Thea sends Delta to the outside for a flippy yibbity-doo. Then a clothesline drops Thea back inside. We go to break, come back. Delta's choke out of the corner, gets broken up. Thea runs her over for a near fall. A springboard backsplash is put out of midair, but Thea gets a Kimura lock, and Delta's in big trouble. But that gets broken up with a backdrop. Delta hits the spear, goes for the F5, it gets countered into a DDT, and then out of nowhere, another crazy girl, Tatum Paxley, comes from I don't know where, goes after Izzy Dane, because you know that ain't finished yet. And that distraction lets Thea Hale grab a fruit roll-up. 1, 2, 3. Thea Hale gets the win. Even though Delta, you know, was talking to the referee like a moron. So that's Delta's fault she lost. But Thea Hale gets a pretty decent win, pretty big win for her in over 9 minutes, and that's it. Match-wise, 2.25 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, we had Fatal Influence minus JC Mahal, JC Jane. She didn't come in there. She must have been in the back somewhere doing something or someone. Who knows? But the Speed Champion, Fallon Don Henley and Laney Reed come out, and Delta lays Thea Hale out with an F5. Are we getting we're getting Delta turning heel-ish? I think that we're getting those seeds are about to bloom. And we just need to, like, pull the fucking trigger already. Make Delta a heel and just destroy Sol Ruka. And then maybe get a title out of this. I don't know. Moving on. Alright, then we're in the back. We have Mr. Ego's son, Charlie Dempsey, was rather impressed with Maddie Winkowski and the Evolve Women's Champion Kendall Gray last week. he was impressed with their performance, but not losing. So Kendo is distracted by not being Jacy Jayne. Ooh. But then Stacks and Company once again. I mean, how many more segments are we gonna have with them? Stacks and Company come up and says Charlie is one of them, and Charlie's like, "What do you mean, one of you? What do you mean, you people?" Weird. Awkward! Alright, so I gave that an awkward 2.25 out of 5 stars, and that's that. Alright, then we get to the murder of Andre Chase, as he takes on Obafemi 2.0, Kiana Carver, for a spot in the ladder match. Andre Chase had the face mask because something with his face. I think his nose was broken or something like that. Anyway, goes right at Keanu Carver, but gets powered into the corner, and then he knocks Mr. Chase to the outside, then into the ropes, back inside, and then suplex gives Keanu Carver a near fall. Mr. Chase fights back with some shots to the head. High cross body gives him a near fall, so at least Mr. Chase did something in this match, so it wasn't a complete squash. They head to the outside. Mr. Chase tackles him over the announcer's table. Did I hit Vic Joseph? Damn! And, Booker T's like, oh, yeah! But, and then Keanu Carver gets back up for a hard slam on the announcer's table, which did not break, obviously. I am the table! Throws him back in, hits that spinning power slam of his. 1, 2, 3, in exactly 4 minutes, Keanu Carver goes on to the 6-way ladder match. He has a great shot to win. Who's gonna stop him? Shiloh, maybe? We'll see what happens with that. Alright, match-wise, 2.25 out of 5 stars. After the match, Keanu Carver basically destroyed Mr. Chase. Sends him into the ring steps. Then he puts his face on the steps. BAM! Stomps on his face, injured his face, blood's coming out of his mouth. I think he got a broken jaw, or at least some broken teeth. So he got the Javon Evans treatment, basically. Remember when Ethan Page, stomped on the chair and freaking Javon's teeth and blood just blah, blah, like metal, blah, or blah. We get that. So yeah, bye-bye Mr. Chase for a while. Hope he has a good dentist. But I digress. Let me move on. Alright, then we get a rundown of the big show for next week. And that's that. Alright, Keanu Carver stays at ringside. Says if anyone has a problem with him wrecking everybody, come out and do something about it. And then we cut to the back, where we see Shiloh Hill and Dion Lennox heading to the ring. Alright, so we got some talking to end the show. So after the break, Jackson Drake, Dion Lennox, Shiloh, Sean Legacy, I forgot him, and Keanu are in the ring for a little 6-way summit. Shiloh says, all that you just did, fight him up even more. So they're about to go at it. Dion's like, I don't want to hear this shit, because Dark State knows how to take things. Yeah, I bet. Anyway, Sean Legacy, with the great hair, says, this is the biggest opportunity of my life, and I'm gonna take chances. And then Jackson Drake says, well, that's why you're gonna lose, or choke, because you took too many risks, like in our match, like a couple of weeks ago, for the Evolve Men's Championship, where Sean Legacy basically choked. We get that. And then, Ricky Starks comes out with a ladder, puts it up on the aisleway, climbs up to, near the tippy top, and addresses everybody. He says, I am the Rose who has come up from the concrete jungle. Interesting metaphor there. But Keanu Carver says, I'm sick of this shit. Starts beating up everybody. A big old brawl ensues. And then Joe Hendry comes out, limping, holding his ribs. Joins the fight. And then him and Keanu Carver start going at it, but Keanu Carver wipes him out with a power slam. And then that's it. And then one more rundown before we wrap things up. So, all in all, NXT was kind of mid. Pretty mid show. I gave it 6.5 out of 10 stars. But let me know what you guys thought of the show down below in the comment section. And like Trick Willie would say, let's talk about it. And that's it. Alright guys, we're getting ready for TNA coming up at the top of the hour, about 25 minutes away or so. Should be a good show, even though it's taped and we have some spoilers already. With the Feast of Fire briefcase, we already know Eddie Edwards got the world title shot. So all we really gotta watch is who gets fired tonight, whether it be Trey Miguel, Steve Maclin, or Grandpa Eric Young. I'm hoping it's Grandpa Eric Young. It would be funny if it's Trey Miguel. It would be hilarious. Because he pretty much got released by TNA, goes to AEW for like a cup of coffee, gets released because of his tweets, like the Jay Briscoe thing, comes back to TNA, gets involved in this match, wins the briefcase, and he gets fired! In the span of about 2 weeks. That is insane. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it would be funny. Well, not for him, but for, it'll be wild. They're like, oh my god, why? Like, everybody would be talking about it. Oh, he got fired 3 times! In the span of 2 weeks, he got fired from 2 companies. The same company as originally in, and then the AEW. Come on. Craziness. And that's that. Alright guys, I'm gonna get out of here. We're gonna watch some TNA, have my sensible dinner, and then I will be back later on my Killer Demons channel with your official TNA Impact Wrestling review. And that's that. Tomorrow, we're gonna do a special video, a new look to the Metal God channel. I'm gonna start doing some video reviews. I'm not going to show the video or play the video because of copyright, obviously. But I'm going to talk about the new single that came out from the great people in Motionless in White. Their new song, Afraid of the Dark. Don't know if that's going to be on the next album. If that does come out, when, I don't know. But they're going to be on tour. They're going to be in Europe for a little bit, in February, I believe. I think they're going to come back to the States this summer with some maybe festivals. Maybe Incarceration, I think. But we'll see what happens with that. And, yeah. So I'm going to try to start a new series where I talk about the single, talk about the lyrics and everything, and we go from there. And that's that. So a little bit of some new content on the Metal God channel. So stay tuned for that tomorrow with the Afraid of the Dark reaction, well, not so much a reaction video, but thoughts video-ish. Thoughts/reaction video. But like I said, I'm not going to play the single because of copyright, so. Even if it's a claim, I might play a little bit of it, maybe, I'll see. If I get a copyright claim, I don't care, but I know Chris Motionless personally, so it wouldn't matter. So, we have that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. 6.5 out of 10 stars for NXT. Leave me your thoughts down below, and that's that. Alright, everybody, thanks for watching. Until next time, if you're not down with that, well, I got 3 words for you. Fuck you, man! And that's it. Until next time. Peace, brother.